Hello and welcome again. So as mentioned before in the other video around waking up, there are several states of waking up. This has to do with the level of perspective that we are able to see. And this could be momentarily. Yeah, so often a meditation practice or a breathwork practice or simply being, let's say, out in nature or doing something you love, like surfing or walking or running or something like that, we experience a momentary window that is a state experience. So a momentary window where we see more of reality as it actually is. It can often feel quite elevating, quite enlivening, opening, spaciousness, freedom. Those sort of words is what you can think of, yeah, in terms of how the state of the body feels. So it's the whole body emerges itself into a different state of being, if you will. There's different possibility and openness, a radical openness is available here. And what can happen as we bring together waking up together with growing up is that we can experience it first we're momentarily. So momentarily during a run or doing a surf or doing a walk or a good conversation with a friend or a yoga practice or something like that, we actually transfer that state experience into a more day-to-day normality. And then it becomes a norm. It becomes our new normal, if you will, which has to do with growing up. And growing up also very much has to do with the level of complexity and reality we're able to face with the level of ease. Yeah. And now this talk today, this conversation here today that we're having, and this what I'm going to show you today here is about how can we differentiate these four states of being, and how can you really start to work with these different states and start to see where you are in each given moment. Now, it's very easy for the mind, as I start to work through these processes, to look at what's the better state, to be in the better state, the more evolved state, whatever it might be, and to wanting to be there all the time. Well, actually what it is to be a conscious leader and therefore a conscious, self-aware human is to notice and recognize where we are in each given moment of time, which might also sometimes include where we don't necessarily like to be, but we are aware that that's where we are in that moment. So it's not necessarily about striving for higher ends. It's simply about recognizing and acknowledging where we are, fully accepting that. And here I can, in this talk, I'll show you what are the different states so that you can recognize it more easily. Once we recognize, then we can shift. But first we need to fully accept where we are. Otherwise, we're just gonna overlay it with conceptual understandings and more pressure on ourselves, which is not going to be very useful or long-term beneficial or sustainable. Yeah, so let's start here on the left-hand side. So to me, state of consciousness is where about 95% of the people spend 98% of their time. This is actually what for most of us is a normal way of operating at this point in time. And this is also what we refer to as victim consciousness. And victim, it's really important that to really realize this is that we really see that the world is happening to me. That's the essential frame that we look at. We don't have any control or power or healthy influence over the way we either ourselves feel or over our environment. No, it's all happening to me. And I'm at the effect of external factors or external consequences, including what other people say and do. And I'm at the effect of that, which is in and of itself a victim consciousness, yeah? The main question that people ask that mostly operate in this category, which is most people, 95% of the people, and therefore also 95% of the leaders, is the question, why is this happening? Sometimes you will even hear, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Yeah. Now, sometimes it's useful to ask a question with curiosity in that way. I wonder why this is happening. But the underlying energy in that is more of a one of, I'm trying to understand this so that I can actually learn from it, as opposed to why is it happening to me? Why me? Yeah, that's sort of the energy of it. So it's a very victim-y kind of way of looking at things. And remember that what we want to identify here and what you want to identify here for yourself is where in your life, which context, situations, maybe in response to certain people, is where you notice that you are in this to me state. You're actually perceiving from a space of victim. Yeah, like you have no choice in the matter. It feels like a state where you have no choice. Things are simply the way they are, and you don't have a choice to either change it or do something about it or shift it. It's happening to you. So identify for yourself, where is this happening in your life? Then a radical shift in consciousness, which is really radical, is shifting from to me to by me. This state of consciousness is really aware that we're consciously creating with. This could be consciously creating with the situation, the circumstance, the person, but also maybe the world or reality at large. And the underlying idea here is everything in the world is unfolding perfectly for learning and development. That's the underlying state or frame, if you will, perspective. Everything in life, the good, the bad, the beautiful and ugly, everything in business, the good, the bad, the beautiful and ugly, everything in relationships is here to show me something. It's here to bring more awareness to some parts of myself that I haven't been able to look at or haven't looked at before. And so it's unfolding perfectly for my own learning and development. And so the main question that gets asked here is, what can I learn? Also, as we start to explore in this by me category, we really start to explore purpose and our personal purpose and vision and mission in life. The question that starts to be asked here is, what is it that I really deeply want? What you can say, what is my heart's desire? What do I really want in life, in business, in relationship, in how I want to be? What do I want? Yeah, so we start to connect to something deeper in ourselves. And we start to actively create and participate in the creation of our lives. Now, this is a radical shift in responsibility, as you can see. And that's pointed out here in this little section here. So as you can see, from to me to by me, there's a shift in responsibility from below the line to above the line. We're shifting from how is this happening to me to, hey, this is all perfectly designed for my learning and development and growth and potential. And instead of asking the question, why is it happening to me? We're asking the question, what can I learn from this situation, this context, this? Yeah. So in this by me, there's also not really any problems that exist. There are really no problems in reality anyway. The way I like to look at it is through nature. Does the tree have a problem with the weather? No, not necessarily. It's simply experiencing it. So in that way, there are only opportunities. And this is really from the radical shift from to me to by me, is that instead of seeing the world as problems and there's problems to be solved, there's really by me, there's really opportunities. And there's only really opportunities, as everything is perfectly designing and unfolding for my learning and development, as well as for everyone else's. So you can really see the shift from to me to by me. There's an element of responsibility and healthy control, you could say, that comes in. Internal, from external locus of control, we go to internal locus of control, where I'm in the driver's seat of my life, and I'm designing my life in a way that I want to. Yeah, so purpose comes in, personal purpose. And now I'm going to make sure that that's going to happen. So there's a radical shift in responsibility. As we then shift from by me to through me, which might be only 1% of the planet at this point in time of humanity is willing or able to do this, is surrender. And so it's almost a shift from taking complete power and responsibility into letting go of control, which can seem very averse or the opposite of it. But by now embodying this really healthy sense of I'm in control, I'm in the driver's seat of my life, We need to move through these states. We need to move into surrender and letting go of control. And now we really can start to tune into this level of awareness, this level of consciousness, where we see the world through me. How is the universe, God, reality, prana, whatever works for you, energy, nature, how is it working through me? And here in this state of consciousness, we're really connected to something beyond ourselves. Yet we're fully in it at the same time because it's happening through us. And so the understanding that comes online is that there is another, again, God, the universe, nature, mysticism, whatever label works for you or whatever reference point you have of that. There's another in the universe that I'm co-creating with. I'm in a co-creation with myself and the universe and all things and happenings in my life. And everything is happening through me. The question that really starts to come online here is, am I really the center of the universe? Or is there really something else going on here? And if so, what is going on here? And what wants to be created through me? How can this body, this being, this vessel, be a co-creation of the highest expression of the universe through this vehicle? It is important to note that in this space, there is a level of me still available, or still present, if you will. So there's a me and the universe. And this universe is working through me, but is not yet as me, because that's the next state of consciousness, which is this one here on the right side. As me is a total and complete oneness. There's no separation between me, others, nature, and the universe. And it's all one being happening. All of me is happening right now in me, as me. There are no problems here because there's no me to have a problem at all. Now what's really fully realized is the pure perfection of creation. And there's really no more questions about purpose, life, or meaning. Life simply is as me, unfolding, infolding, moment to moment in this one moment. Now, the main interesting point here for you, as most of you will be operating this, is the shift from to me to by me. So note for yourself in your life, where are you living in a state of victimhood? So where are you perceiving that external circumstances are happening to you, and you're acting at the effect of those external circumstances, and you shift that to taking radical responsibility, and now you start to consciously co-create with. What can you learn? What's the opportunity? Everything is unfolding here for perfect learning opportunity. So from external locus of control to internal locus of control. And then some of you might be ready to explore this piece as well, or maybe some area. There might also be some areas of your life where you're still reactive in victimhood, while some other areas of your life you're actually quite operating in this through me state. Yeah, so it's not static, it's very dynamic. So look at yourself in this dynamic way. And really what the main signpost of conscious leadership is that we can recognize where we are and that we're able to shift. It's not to be in as me per se all of the time, or in through me. Yeah, so it's more the signpost that we recognize where are we in victim and how can I shift that. And if we do that often enough, guess what? It becomes a new habit, a new place of operating from. Once we ground it enough in by me, a lot of us might want to bypass that. Let's go from to me to as me. It's not going to happen that way. We need to go through these states. We need to go through the process. It's very important, actually. Otherwise, we probably have a lot of shadow material and unconscious stuff driving in the background still. So we want to look back sometimes in terms of like, where are we operating from? We know cognitively we are so much more able to do so much more or be so much more in our leadership capacity, etc., but yet we're still feeling pulled back by these other dynamics, and it just feels a bit childlike and just a bit old, say it like that. So let's have a look at that and include that in the process and actually be really honest with ourselves and move consciously. So make note, where in your life are you in a state of consciousness from to me, and you can move to by me, and then also where in your life can you move from by me to through me. Something is coming through you, the universe, love, creation. What is the highest expression of the universe through you? So there's a lot possible here, and again, reach out for any questions if you have some.